Well, hi guys, welcome to Talk English Club. My name is Fabio, and on this video, we're going to read Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Roll the intro. Looking at them, Snow White could easily guess the name that belonged to each dwarf. And you must be Grumpy, she said with a giggle, folding her arms to imitate him. Then Snow White introduced herself and told the dwarfs about the wicked queen and how the animals had rescued her from the forest. "Please don't send me away," she pleaded. "If you do, the wicked queen will surely find me." The dwarfs took pity on Snow White, and when she told them that she would clean and cook for them in return for their kindness, they quickly decided that she should stay, all except Grumpy, who simply said, he wanted nothing to do with a wicked queen or a tidy princess. Back at the castle, the huntsman had delivered the box back to the queen. He had fooled the queen by placing a pig's heart inside it instead of Snow White's. Thinking Snow White was dead, the queen eagerly asked her magic mirror, "Magic mirror on the wall, who now is the fairest one of all?" But the mirror replied, "Over the 7 jeweled hills, beyond the 7-fold, in the cottage of the 7 dwarfs, dwells Snow White, fairest one of all." The queen was enraged. Snow White was still alive. The queen stormed down the winding staircase that led to a dark dungeon beneath the castle. There she went to a hidden room filled with bottles, potions, and a book of magic spells. She opened the book and, finding a spell for a disguise, mixed up a terrible potion. Then she drank the brew and was instantly transformed into an ugly old hag. Next, the queen found another spell and, following the recipe carefully, filled her cauldron with the bubbling liquid. She took an apple and slowly dipped it into the poisonous potion. "And now," she cackled, "a special sort of death for one so fair. One bite of this poisoned apple, and Snow White will close her eyes forever. Then I shall be the fairest of them all once more." Far away from the castle dungeon, Snow White and the dwarfs were about to have dinner. "You'll just have time to wash," Snow White decided. "Let me see your hands." One by one, the dwarfs slowly took their hands from behind their backs and showed them to Snow White. "Worse than I thought," she said. "March straight outside and wash, or you will not get a bite to eat." The dwarfs didn't really want to wash, but they were willing to do it to make Snow White happy, except Grumpy. "Her wheels are beginning to work," he muttered. He stood groaning and grumbling as he watched the others. Well, let them, he was not going to wash. Six dwarfs quickly scrubbed up. Then they all turned to Grumpy, and before he knew what was happening, they jumped on him. "Get in!" shouted Doc. They grabbed Grumpy and pulled him over to the tub, where they washed his hands and face, even his beard. Now all seven were ready for dinner. When they had finished eating, it was time for some fun. The dwarfs played their musical instruments while Snow White danced around the room. Each dwarf took a turn dancing with Snow White. The last was Dopey, who climbed onto Sneezy's shoulders and covered them both up with a long cloak. Now he was as tall as Snow White, but only until Sneezy sneezed and sneezed Dopey right off his shoulders. To be continued.